Hi guys. Okay, I don't think it looks as good as I envisioned in my head, unfortunately. I will work on this for next week. I ran out of time, as we'll talk about before episode 8. Okay, I ran out of time. But hopefully my audio is not... I'm going to turn it up a little bit because whenever I rewatch the lives back, they sound super quiet. Just since there's enough of you this time, give me a reading on like audio and stuff. Like if the music in the background needs to get turned down, this needs to get turned up. I'm obviously talking a little bit louder because I do have my headphones on today because I realized a couple things after last week's stream. One being that hold on one second. My Spotify is not working. Would you all have probably realized. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Welcome to the Summer I Turned Pretty episode 8. Recap, reaction. We're going to rewatch it. Sorry, that was my... Too many water bottles. Oh, okay. The audio is going again. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Pistachio Lover. I'm going to check the chat. I'm going to be... Oh my god, I'm so excited you guys are here, guys. I need to talk about this episode so badly. I only finished it like... I guess it was an hour ago now, but it feels like it's been a while. Apologies to start that I am late. I wanted to create this border because I wanted something to celebrate the Summer I Turned Pretty, and I wanted to add shells to it. This is supposed to be like the water dappling. Listen, it's not great. Maybe it kind of looks like that to you. I was going to add some things to kind of disguise it, but ran out of time and figured this is better than nothing. And so next week it will be improved upon. Much like Belly, I am indeed a work in progress and therefore will be, Trevor, the Summer Steven turned pretty. Shout out to Taylor. She my girl this season. No, seriously, Taylor, we're going to get into all of it. First and foremost, a couple matters of business because I am starting this stream running. This is a spoiler stream. So if you are here under the guise of non-spoilers, which I don't think any of you are based on your chats thus far, which thank you for being here and thank you for being active. I'm so excited. Please note that I will be talking about the episode in full and will be like live rewatching it so that we can kind of make sure we hit all the points. I kind of did this last week. I kind of skipped around, but I think it's a little bit easier if I kind of play it in the background. But we're going to get to your chats first. I'm going to give my general reaction and then we'll kind of go back into it and kind of analyze as we go. So it'll kind of be start and stop, if you will. But I am so excited. First and foremost, also, because so many of you that have pushed me over this threshold have been Summer I Turned Pretty fans. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for 5,000 subscribers. I hit this milestone on a Saturday morning. I woke up to it. It had me leaping out of bed. I was so excited. I don't know how to express because it seems like such a small number comparatively to other people in this film community or to YouTube at large. Like 5,000 does not feel like a lot, but this has been a goal of mine for a long time. 5,000 just felt like it had a level of legitimacy that 4,000 didn't, or anything lower than that for me personally. And hitting it has been a goal of mine. And I reached 4,000 at the beginning of last year and have been, I have not always been the most consistent. I will say that, but this show has like really reignited my spark for like film and television analysis and talking about it, and the community online is so vibrant and excited. And it's also so many women and also their husbands and boyfriends who are coming into it. There's so many people in my personal life that I would not have ever expected to watch the show who have. And I just love getting to talk about it with people. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for 5,000 subscribers. I will do a more dedicated live stream, but I just wanted to say that since so many of you are probably brand new subscribers to the channel. And if you are, I'm Sasha. I'm Team Conrad. As you can tell, this is just like a generic USA shirt I probably thrifted in college, but it is my go-to Team Conrad shirt. I need to obviously get some merch so that I can show it off in the show. I wanted to get the Don't Marry Him shirt that American Eagle leaked on accident for last week's episode, but obviously that's sold out. So we might be DIYing at this point, but maybe for next week. Okay, but geez, episode 8 just aired tonight. Or I mean, I guess it aired at 3 a.m. Are any of you people that stayed up till 3 a.m.? Because I unfortunately would love to be that person. I just have to go to work, and I know I will not. I could barely function getting my review up last night just before 1 a.m, which also thank you for the support on that. That's literally for a week old episode. I'm going to try to get this week's review out a little bit sooner than prior to that so that I can, stay ahead. But anyway, c'est la vie. guys, this episode, obviously you can tell probably from the video I posted yesterday, but especially the first video I posted about Summer I Turned Pretty on my channel, I was not expecting this to be the episode that we got not only the day before the wedding, but also the wedding and potentially a little bit more. None of that was what I was expecting. The fact that we have 3 episodes left and the wedding has already been called off, I am really glad, because I think this has given our characters so much great character development time, which I think they desperately need. Not the fact that this season, not because they're not great characters, but I do want to see Jeremiah have a redemption arc. I do want to see maybe more time pass. I do want to see Belly kind of come back to herself, which Taylor popped off this episode. Let me tell you, we're going to get into that. And I just want to see a little bit more evolution of these characters' stories beyond just like a happy ending. And in the book, sorry, this piece of hair is kind of frustrating me. Sorry, my hair is it's not great today, so no one comment on it. It's unfortunately not belly hair today. But I really want to see these characters grow, develop, and I don't just want to skip ahead to the book's epilogue the way the book kind of does. Also, in case you are not a book reader, I will probably be talking about stuff in the books. But honestly, we are in uncharted waters, not to spoil anything for anybody, but a lot of this isn't what I think we're going to get in the next 3 episodes is not going to be from the book directly necessarily. So that's all I got to say. Okay. Let me get into your comments and then we'll actually get into the episode. This episode was indeed, oh, hold on. Let me get my chat up. Hold on. Let me be professional YouTuber. Oops. Goodness gracious. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm genuinely so excited. Like, last week I started and there was nobody, and this week the fact that there's 30 of you, kind of surreal. It's kind of surreal. Sorry, I need to calm down. Clearly, I am a overdramatic freak when it comes to the show. Is this gonna pop up? Yes. Yay. Okay, hold on. I need a pistachio lover. Girl, I need to get you over here. Okay. This episode was indeed traumatic. It was like kind of like a jump scare of an episode for me. I don't know if anyone else felt that way, because I was just not expecting time to go so fast. Last week's episode was an entire like morning to basically middle of the night episode, and the fact that we picked it up from her waking up the next morning and then went through like 2 full days, wasn't expecting that at all. I just wasn't. Dinfam says, wish they would have stuck with Conrad telling about Christmas, not some neighbor, but still, wow, amazing writing and acting. I'm okay with the little changes like this. Like, I would have been upset personally if it didn't come to light. And honestly, this is where I'm like, I have to watch this or read these books again, because I am not remembering certain things. Like, I didn't even realize that this was something that happened in the book. I kind of forgot that it went unaddressed. Yeah, like, I don't know why I'm blanking on that. I think I was so, like, anticipating the Conrad endgame that I clearly want so badly. But yes, maybe it would have been good. I do think this episode pointed out some interesting things that even I, as a Team Conrad fan, can, like, be a little bit unbiased and say, like, is the way that Conrad handled the situation the best? No. But has anyone in the show handled any situation in this entire show really that well? No. And that's why I'm excited about, like, the character growth episodes, which is what I'm assuming we're going to get next. But I guess you never know. The summer Steven turned pretty. Trevor, thank you so much for being here. Yes, same thing. I feel bad because even though this wasn't obviously intentional that Susannah put them in the wrong envelope, like, she was literally dying. I do feel for him, because you find out your brother, who you've always felt a little inferior to, is in love with the woman that you're marrying, who loved him first. Your mom is not there, so you're at her garden grieving, and then your brother, whom you're pissed at because he just told the woman you love that he still loves her 2 days before your wedding, he shows up with a letter from your dead mother, and guess what? It's for the wrong brother. Like, that was a little brutal. I will say, when we go back through the episode, there are a couple things that come to mind for me, because I genuinely do think this was the first time I really did empathize with Jeremiah's situation. Not in like a logical sense. Again, as I will say every single time I talk about the show, and luckily I think we're all fans here, so I think we all understand. But when it comes to this show, if these were real people in my life, I would be staying the hell away from them, and I would be telling them they need to fix their messy stuff. But because it's a fictional show, like, I'm gonna rip people a new one, no problem, and also undyingly support Laurel and Conrad. Point blank period. Like, anyways, but it was the first time where for Jeremiah I was like, oh, this is a horrible situation for him to be put in. The only thing is that the revelations about him coming out this episode do make it worse for him, I fear. I do think they make me dislike him more and make him even less of the right choice for Belly, which I think are things that are important. Like, I think they are... I don't know. I also do think it makes... I will say with the change from the neighbor to Conrad telling him, my thing is, like, I guess if the neighbor told Jeremiah and Jeremiah still chose to do what he did, it doesn't... I don't know. I feel like this episode they were kind of trying to like add a couple few more flaws to Conrad that he still needs to sort through, because he's still the only character that's gone through therapy. He's still the only character that fully knows about his dad, which I really hope that like he and Jeremiah can come to an understanding about the dad and Kaylee situation, because I think that's the only way that they can move forward. Like, I think that's something that could unite them as brothers, even if they have this pain over Belly. But for real, shout out to Taylor. I will say, listen, I had started working on a couple shorts that, to be honest, I just ran out of time. I couldn't be posting 5 shorts a day. That was just going to get a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. So I couldn't comment on Steven and Taylor as much as I want to, but I think now I will have the opportunity to, is the fact that Taylor, people have been claiming like maybe Taylor's giving her bad advice. Taylor is being a supportive friend, which, to be honest, Belly has kind of needed throughout this whole drama, because the situation is so messy. 2 of the people that she's known throughout her entire life in this situation are her future husband, who she's not going to talk to all about all these things, and her ex-boyfriend / her future husband's brother, who she does still kind of have feelings for. Taylor has stood by her through her mom not being supportive. She's the one that even probably feels a little guilty because she told Belly, like, hey, if you want to get back together with him, like, I'm not going to judge you after Steven passed. Oh my God. After Steven's accident. Jeez Louise. But I just think that Taylor has tried to be as good of a friend as possible, and clearly Taylor has some growth still left to do, which I think we get to see in this episode. And so I like the fact that as this day kind of unfolds, Taylor goes from being like, hey, don't worry, like, we're gonna figure everything out, it's gonna be okay, to being like, I need to be honest with you on a friend to friend level. I can't keep watching these things happen. She's great. She looked great. I'm not crazy about her bridesmaid's dress. It did feel very Taylor, but it didn't feel Belly. But then again, this whole wedding wasn't Belly. So, also, can we talk about the fact that Annika, Redbird, and the other groomsmen, not that I needed to see all of them, were kind of just, like, forgotten about in the beginning of this episode? Like, I think it was because there was so much conflict going on. There was no point for those people to be there other than to pop in and out of, like, this conflict to remind you that there is indeed a wedding that's supposed to be happening. But, I feel like they were like, right, pay them for their setup episodes, pay them for the Bachelor Bachelorette episodes, and I don't think we'll ever see any of those people again, other than maybe Annika, because I think we probably will get to see, like, her living with Annika, maybe. No, because she won't. Anyway, who's to say? Maybe in the spring when she's back from Paris. Pistachio Lover stayed up till 3 a.m. That's a real fan right there. Oh my gosh. Melissa says, I hate the way all the other characters showed no care or concern for Conrad except Laurel when he cares and looks out for everyone else all the time. See, and this is, thank you for reminding me, Melissa, because freaking Jeremiah, this whole episode, everyone was like, oh, Conrad, you have to make this all about you. He literally told her, then he told her that he was going to try to forget about it, to have a slice of pride, to walk away from the situation. And Belly's the one that forced the issue. Then he realizes, wait, she's still into me. And then they're like, what did you think? She was going to run away with you? And he's like, yes. Which I was like, that's my boy, Conrad Fisher. That's amazing. But I agree. I think that is something that I think they intentionally didn't do with Jeremiah, is give him sympathy, because obviously he would be hurt and he's going to be jealous in this situation. But to be honest, like, anybody having sympathy, I mean, Adam's obviously not going to have sympathy because Adam's a filthy cheater. I hate Adam Fisher. But also the fact that, sorry, I'm trying to move my leg and the wire was in the way. This room is a mess, by the way. This looks cute. This room is not. This is a mess. That's something I'm also hoping to change for next week. So hold me accountable, guys. Somebody asked me next week. But yeah, Laurel is the only one. I mean, I think Susannah would have clocked this. Honestly, I think if Susannah was alive, which is like half the point of the story, but if Susannah was alive, none of this stuff would have gone down because she would have talked Jeremiah off of a cliff. Belly and Conrad would have been together basically from that point in season 1, end of season 1 on, I think. And also Susannah would have been there to be like, boys, let's calm down. She would have painted somebody's picture and everyone would have been fine. But I do love the Laurel and Conrad moment. That's directly from the books. And it's really, really sweet because I think this show is continually painting parallels that, like, Susannah and I just had a thought. Susannah and Laurel are kind of supposed to be soulmates. They constantly refer to themselves as soulmates, and they are platonic friends. I think that Belly is obviously like a lot like Susannah. She's always kind of wanted to be like Susannah, and Conrad has grown up to be a lot more like Laurel. Like, both of them don't handle their emotions the best way all the time, but they're kind of more solid and stable and whatever, and they're loyal people. And I think what's interesting is like they're kind of the parallel soulmates of the kids, even though there are like, I don't know. Anyway, Susannah being alive would have solved a lot of this. So sorry, rest in peace, Susannah. I wish you could have been here to stop all of this, but also it is great television and great literature and great romance. So in some ways, I'm glad you're not. But no, literally everyone does kind of hate on Conrad this episode. And I don't think he did any. Here's the thing. Would you rather, Belly's clearly going through it, and I think the only reason she doesn't like the fact is if Conrad was like, oh no, I'm completely over you, she just would have like had that quiet love for Conrad the rest of her life, and she would have gone through with it. But like, I don't know. I get that this is messy, and I get that this is all bad, but like, to me, before somebody makes a permanent decision, giving them all the information to make the permanent decision with feels like an important thing to do. The same way that Belly didn't want to marry Jeremiah, having the secret between them, which she also was keeping the Christmas secret, but I don't think that's that big of a secret. I don't know. Jeremiah was trying to justify Cabo with that, and I was like, oh, okay, no, sir, we're not going to do that. But yes, I feel a little bit bad for Jer. Okay, let's get into this. Yes, Jer, Christmas, and Cabo. The 3 messiest things happening in the show right now. So basically, here's what I think. Because obviously I was feeling sad for Jeremiah when Belly calls the wedding off, basically. Because she has that realization that, like, he would still marry me. I cannot do that to him. Which I do think is, like, proof that she does love him. And what did I say? This is much like The Great Gatsby, where Gatsby needs Gatsby needs Daisy to say that she never loved Tom so that they can be together. And Daisy can't say that. Here, Belly chooses to be upfront with this man and say, no, I will always love a piece of your brother. I don't know how to move on from that. I don't know what we do, whatever. And they choose not to get married, and they call off the wedding, and I guess they essentially break up. And Jer, in saying this, while I'm feeling bad for him, he says that he knew about Christmas. And so to me, if you are the person, if you're mad about your partner keeping a secret, like, let's even extrapolate this to Belly doing the worst thing possible. Being like, if you know that your soon-to-be spouse kept a secret from you, or they were dating at the time. If you knew your boyfriend, girlfriend kept a secret from you, you pick a fight because you want the secret to come out. And instead of that coming out, you both just get mad at each other and you get in a fight. And then you leave on vacation after the fight. And then you cheat. Well, you go and sleep with someone else. We won't even say cheat. And then you come back and you get back together. And, like, I have so many questions. Why did you pick the fight? And if you knew you picked the fight, then you knew it wasn't a break up fight because you picked it. Because he didn't have the cojones to say to her, you still love Conrad. You're keeping the secret from me, blah, blah, blah. They could have cleared the air there, and they didn't. But this is, again, why they weren't right for each other, is because they can't fight in a way that, like, they still wake up the next morning and are like, okay, like, let's figure this out. The way that Belly and Conrad literally do in this episode. But yeah, I think that he picked the fight, and I don't think he obviously, I don't think he meant to hurt Belly, but he definitely, no, I think he did. I'm sorry, every time I try to give Jeremiah the benefit of the doubt, my my heart cuts me off and goes, no, I do think he cheated because he felt like there's a piece of Belly he's never going to be able to have. And in the books, there's an added element of him and Belly never having been intimate and that not being an aspect to her relationship with Conrad or Jeremiah, which I think is a change the show made, and I get why it made it because you're making it for a more scaled up audience, whatever. But I do think that does kind of make this like a harder pill to swallow for a lot of people, is this whole situation. But now it's over. Well, I guess it's not. No, I guess she would still be with one brother when she's ready to marry the other. But anyway, okay, sorry. I need to cut myself off. I'm thinking too much. That's not a good sign. That's not a good thing to do right after I've watched this show. I think that he goes and cheats because he wants to feel a piece of himself. And when he comes back, he feels bad. And then when Belly takes him back, instead of doing the hard thing and telling her, like, I thought we broke up, I picked this fight, I was upset about Christmas, because that was also the time to say, like, I was upset about Christmas, and I felt like you might have cheated on me, and I actually cheated on you, actually, and, like, I don't know. Belly could have dodged a freaking bullet and not had to plan this whole wedding or deal with Adam Fisher and his mistress, and Jared put her through that, so, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm excited for the Jeremiah Fisher is over party. Well, I guess I should say I'm glad that Jeremiah Fisher, aka Belly's husband, party is I'm glad that that's over. However, I really do want to see Jeremiah get a redemption, because I do think it's something that in the book is a simple line to state that he and Belly are okay and about he and Conrad are okay. But beyond that, like, I would like to see that in the show, because we spent enough time with them as characters that I think it would be worthwhile to get that. And I think there's time to tell that, like, redemption story for him. And they've set up this whole job thing with his dad and his conversation with Conrad to feel like you do not have to go down the Adam Fisher path. Like, yes, you messed up in the past. Yes, Belly did not pick you. That doesn't mean you're not worthy of love. That doesn't mean you can't fix your mistakes. That doesn't mean you can't still have a life that you're proud of. And I do think that that's going to be able to come out. And I think I'm excited because in this show, I think we will get to see Belly go to Paris. I think we will get to see Conrad go back to med school. I think we'll see him and Jeremiah hash things out and almost have, like, no more secrets between them. And I think that's when the whole, like, Kaylee situation will come out. And Jeremiah will, I think, realize in that moment, like, if I had married Belly, I would have been like my dad. I would have been the person that had cheated on this woman I love. And I don't know. And I don't want Jeremiah to be in love with Belly forever. And I think that we'll be lucky that we won't have to deal with that. But anyway, okay, I'm so behind on comments. Let me catch up. Honestly, I feel that Belly, fear, and pride are the reason why she was indecisive. Exactly. And her telling Jer the truth the night before the wedding was because she wanted Jer to make the decision for both of them. Honestly, I think that that's a good analysis, because I do think if Jer was going to be like, I'll still marry you anyway, then maybe that still would have put her in a tough position. She still would have had these feelings. And so I think we still would have come to the same thing. But I do think Jeremiah reacting the way he does, he and Belly are both, like, almost too stubborn. And I think Conrad is maybe not totally past that. Nobody's a perfect person. And I do think they're making Conrad, like, you know, Jenny Honda's written such a good man in him. Like, he is indeed a man written by a woman, but he still is a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is still irritating. He is still moody. He is still difficult at times. But I feel like she did want to tell him and have him, if she broke up with, or if Jared reacted and broke up with him, I still think the events would have unfolded where she's like, okay, fine, I'm going away for a while. But I do think that's kind of what she wanted or expected to happen. The fact that he just got mad and abandoned her, then she had to sit with the fact, like, what if he comes back? I don't know, it's just played so well, the tension this whole episode. I even knew what was going to happen, and I couldn't, like, I was struggling to breathe through the episode because it was so well done. Him finding out about Cabo changed everything. It's a wake-up call for him. Agreed. I think Conrad realized last episode, if he had never heard about the Cabo thing and he had been like, wow, Jeremiah really loves her, I think he would have done the noble thing and not said anything. But that is the key difference here, is like, and I think if he would have said that to Taylor, I would have been interested to hear what Taylor said. Maybe I need to rewatch the episode, which I said I was going to do, but now I'm just yapping. But he, yeah, that's why he tells her, is it's not like she has this perfect relationship. He thinks he's telling her something she doesn't know so she can have the full information. She already knows. And so then he, you know, the plot twist is that he tells her that he still loves her, and that's the thing she doesn't know. But yeah, I agreed. I'm glad Conrad is standing up for himself and saying what he wants instead of tiptoeing around everyone else's feelings. Everyone gets grace, but he doesn't, despite carrying so much of his own. See, and this is also like an aspect of, I think, the way Susannah would have acted is like, these are my emotions. I can't just hold them aside. And it is sad because it is like a hurtful, people want to be protective of Belly, but yeah, like Laurel is kind of the only one that checks in on him. It makes me sad about Steven, but it has kind of been explained, which I think somebody commented that him and Steven disconnected. I think that that's another element to the relationship because Steven is such a side character in the books and like not really present that that I think they have a lot to play with here of like their friendship, his friendship with Jeremiah, because Steven still has to figure out that Belly cheated on, or that Jeremiah cheated on Belly, because I think that would have changed his perspective of the situation. And I don't know, there was one line in here, there was one line that was missing from this that I would have loved to have seen from in the book, but I do think it's going to come back later. Steven has a conversation with Belly after I think he finds out that Conrad still loves him. In the book, everyone's a little more supportive of Conrad, but I think it makes for an interesting tension change for the last 3 episodes of this season, seeing the way they're going. But Steven has this conversation with Belly the day of the wedding where he says like, hey, basically like go big or go home. Like, you need to be with the right person. I'm not telling you who that is. I don't even think he relates it to a person, but he can tell she's going through something. And he's like, I love Jer, but also like do what you need to do. Like, he's not pushing her towards Conrad, but he's basically saying like being a person to be like, if you need support in this moment, that's what I will be. And I kind of think she gets that speech from Taylor, and it's more tailored to Belly and like the codependency issue and that kind of thing. But I'm hoping that we get that from Steven at some point later, and I think we will. The letter. So the letter is a fun little thing. They actually added where she messes this up in season 2. When Belly goes to visit her, and it's the last time that Belly is seeing Susannah, she's writing letters, and it's kind of implied that they're these letters. She is working on one, and then I think she stuffs it into the wrong envelope, and that's how it ends up here, which is like such a fun little Easter egg for the show that you don't get in the book, or not that I can remember in the book. But them being switched is in the book, which is fun. So good. Susannah believed Conrad and Belly would end up together. I do believe that. I like that she wrote the letter not stating like be good to Belly, but basically saying that like I've seen you in love once. And I think that's also something that propels Jeremiah, because he does read the full letter. He doesn't just go, oh, this is for you, and not read it. And I think he realizes that like he can't be with Belly. Like, some small part of him realizes he can't be with Belly if he knows his brother's in love with him. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that whole dynamic between Jeremiah, Conrad, and Belly goes in the future, beyond just like Belly being with Conrad, but just that kind of brother dynamic, because I do think this show, for how good it's been and how much it's expanded on the books, that's like one element and one area where they really could expand on it. So Rebecca says, I did not read the books. Season 1, I liked Jer. Season 2, I disliked him. This freaking season made me hate him. This episode, I wish someone would punch Jer. He kept yelling at people and no one yelled back. I agree. He is the first to jump to whiny baby. And then when he needs to be comforted, he is like, let me be a little spoon. And I'm like, can this man literally have a video of me reacting to this? I need to cut it all together. Also, so sorry that the video last night, I wanted to edit a couple more things and there were a couple of issues. My computer was actually giving me hell. My computer was my Jeremiah last night. It was full on storage. I need to go and buy like a new solid state drive, SSD. I think that's what that stands for. I have to go buy a whole new one because I'm having so many issues with storage on my computer. So I apologize about that. But okay, to be honest, I liked Jer as a side character in season 1. I did not like the romance with him and Belly, but I didn't realize what it was going to turn into. And then in season 2, I was very much like, you're annoying me. I don't like you here. And obviously this season, I'm like, you're a brat. I don't like you. You're stupid. But this episode was the first time I actually felt genuine sympathy for him. Not in a way of that I wanted him to be with Belly. And I do still, at the end of the day, when I analyze what he actually said and what his emotions were, I do feel like, no, I actually still dislike you. but I did have empathy for him in this situation. I saw somebody say online, like, of course, this would be like somebody's villain origin story. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of fair. Jeremiah was not broken up about cheating on Belly. He was laughing about it with his bros. See, and that is the key difference. That's the key thing. When Belly goes, oh, he's so, like, brokenhearted about it. Like, he feels so guilty. No, he doesn't. No, he does not. He's laughing with them on his bachelor night, and that's the key difference between him and Conrad. That's the key difference. Is Conrad is a man of honor, and that's why he can be a man who yearns, because a man who does not have honor would go for the girl every time. He's not going to stand back. He's not going to yearn in the same way. Anyway, Megan, this is definitely a very healthy obsession. I'm definitely well-adjusted. I'm definitely emotionally stable, and this is definitely what I should be doing on a Wednesday night. I'm having fun, though, and I know that Megan will support all my unhealthy obsessions. Now that we've seen every scene from the trailer, I cannot believe that happened, by the way. I can't believe we've seen everything that's in the trailer, and we have no clue what's coming next. None. It makes me want to avoid any behind-the-scenes stuff even more, because I'm like, I have no clue what's coming. This could be completely original content. This could include certain things from the books. It could go totally different direction. She's not ended up with Jeremiah. I can tell you that after today's episode. Jared didn't even get a nice song to go out on. He did not even get like a Taylor song, which I kind of thought he would get Peter. That was my prediction. He got Skinny Love, but that kind of applied to everyone in that situation, when everyone's kind of like, ooh, this is kind of sad. I love the fact, that is one of my favorite scenes. Sorry, I will get to the rest of your comment, Pistachio Lover. I'm so sorry. I'm on a rant. I loved the fact that Belly's parents take care of business. They're like, we don't care. We support our daughter. I think that's how we should all be for the rest of the show, now that she's trying to come to her senses, and now that the wedding has officially been called off. The fact that her parents are just like picking up her stuff. Laurel gets the letter. We're going to see that letter return. That's what makes me think that there will be elements of the book ending, because the fact that she keeps Belly's letter and we don't hear a Susannah voiceover for the Conrad one, I think we're going to get to see these letters in the finale. I think they're coming back. I don't think she would have like picked it up if we weren't going to see that, because the acknowledgement of the letter existing, it's going to come back around. Sorry. Do you think we'll get 2 episodes of Bonrad, Eps 10 and 11? So this is what I think is going to happen. Let's just jump to my theories. We haven't even like looked at the episode again. My theory is that she did not call Conrad. I believe that she called her Paris people to see if she can go abroad. She's probably figuring out, like, she has the money to go somewhere. She's going to go. She can figure out everything else from there. Then I think that Conrad is at the airport, which, this is a little nitpick. Usually there's an international terminal and a non-international terminal at an airport. I guess they could be going to the same place, but at my airport, these would be separate places. But I think Conrad is going back to California. I think he went and booked a flight. He knows that they're gonna like call off the wedding. Does that happen before or after? He says goodbye to her, I think, when they're calling off the wedding, and he basically just says, like, he doesn't even say run away with me. No, she calls it off after. No, he leaves. He bails because he's like, I'm not gonna stay. So he's back at the airport to go to California. She's going to Paris. I think they will talk at the airport. Obviously, there's to be acknowledgement, but I think he's gonna take a step back and realize, like, if she called off the wedding, that like there's still an opportunity, because I don't think Conrad is like begging her to be with him right now. I think he's gonna step away and she's gonna be like, I need to go, like, be by myself. So Belly's gonna choose herself next episode. She's gonna be in Paris. I think we're gonna see Paris all of next episode. 10 and 11, I have no idea. I don't think that, personally, I wouldn't be a huge fan. I mean, I would love to see it. Let me be completely honest. I would love to see a full Bonrad being happy episode, but I do think that that's almost a little too epilogue-y, and I don't know that there's enough tension then to get you to wait till the finale for that. I think that we will get some type of newlywed, newly married, together Bonrad in the finale, but I do not think we're going to have full episodes of that. I think that they're going to have this like splitting moment in the next episode. He's going to go back to California. She's going to go back. Because I don't know how much, I feel like this might go through a time jump, but there's like one key element from the book, which is the letters that are sent. And I won't divulge what's in those letters, but I do think the letters being there is like such a core part of the book that it'd be a shame to not get to see them, especially when the show has nailed the narration of the book so well. So I think that's my prediction. I don't think we're going to have 2 full episodes of Belly and Conrad together. I think we will have one of her in Paris, one of her maybe coming back to the States, finishing college, and then we will get maybe like a time jump or something like that. I will say, like, Jenny Han was talking about how, like, she wants to keep this exciting for people. She wants to make it so that people don't fully know what's going on in the show and make the ending better. And, like, this is something that totally didn't happen in the book. And seeing Conrad at that fucking airport, excuse my French, made me so excited. I was like, oh my God, I did not think he was going to be there. So, yeah, every time I think about the fact that I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes, I freak out a little bit because I can't believe that I just can't believe they've pulled this off. I cannot believe that they took everything that was important about the day before the wedding and the wedding day, squashed it together, and then said, you have 3 episodes left. Thank us. Also, and my husband was talking about this, do we think there's going to be a spinoff to this show? Because obviously, To All the Boys I Loved got the Exo Kitty spinoff, which I think I will be watching next, and I might have to talk about on the channel, because I'm going to need something to fill the Summer I Turned Pretty sized hole in my heart in a couple weeks. The fact there's only 3 more weeks of this kind of makes me depressed. But I think that, I wonder with this show, because I think it being 3 seasons and not being as many books as there are is so great. We're getting a little bit more time to dive into these stories, but I would love, I think I've seen a lot of people talking about a Laurel and Susannah like college meeting story and like maybe like them at the cousin's house. I think that would be genius. I would also personally, and I feel like the show might have a time jump still left to go, so I don't know that we'll see this, but I would be in support of a Jeremiah spinoff where we maybe get to see Belly and Conrad, but that Jeremiah gets to, like, I don't know, do his own thing, live his life. I don't know that there's enough conflict and story there. And then I think Steven and Taylor might be together, like, as of next episode, like, fully back together. Does the show end with Steven and Taylor's wedding now instead? Because that's completely different from the books. They're not even in the books. So, I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I would love this Laurel and Susannah. Does anybody else want a spinoff? Thoughts, opinions. Because basically, sorry, I rambled there. My husband was saying, like, I don't understand. Like, if this show is so popular, the fact that they're not pushing for, like, a 4th season or something else. And I was like, there's no more story to tell. But I do think they could do a Laurel and Susannah, like 2 seasons of something there. Or, like, I don't know. Like, do a Queen Charlotte thing, but have it be Laurel and Susannah. And maybe it ends with, like, the kids being born or something like that. And it's a nice little tie-in. Because then you can have the adult actors, but you don't have to have the kids anymore. Because they're, like, Lola Tung's career, I think, is going to blow up after this. Christopher Bryan, he's already been in Mean Girls. Like, yes, okay, Rebecca and Tina are with me on the Laurel and Susannah spinoff. I just think this would be so fun. You'd cast younger people probably, and or the adult cast for, like, little cameos. I also would be so, like, I think it could maybe end with, like, Susannah getting diagnosed with cancer the first time or something, because when I was rewatching season 1, because this is my comfort show, and even though I talk on the internet constantly about how much pain it causes me week to week, this is my comfort show at the moment. Kara's with us. There's a shot from, like, Belly growing up when she's, like, remembering being at the cousin's house. You see Susannah in a bandana, and, like, it doesn't look like she has any hair. So I'm guessing that's the first time she has cancer, because it's implied that, like, obviously her cancer is back. This isn't the first time, and she doesn't want to go through treatment again. So I would love to see my pitch for a Laurel and Susannah spinoff. It starts with them meeting in college, their college antics, them meeting their, like, now future husbands, maybe, like, I don't know, somebody before them or whatever. And then leading up to maybe, like, the first time, like, it would include the first time Laurel goes to the cousin's house, like, them going there. maybe them like trying to make it a tradition, and the tension of having this super close friend but your lives changing and looking different when you get married, and then maybe like that could be the conflict, and then them coming back together when like Susannah I don't know. I would love it though. I'm so on board with that. Okay, Pistachio Lovers in 2. Great. All the girls are together on this Laurel and Susannah spinoff. I would be shocked if that isn't like in the works or like something that comes about, because I think it would also be something that would speak to, it would be right up Jenny Han's alley, because it would be like a YA thing again. It'd be a spinoff of characters she loves. And the show, I think you forget it in season 3, but the moms are such a strong part of season 1. And I think in season 2, you don't get it as much. I think they tried to do something with Julia, but it just didn't fit as much. But in season 1, like their friendship is such a, I mean, obviously their friendship is the whole reason that all of this is happening in the first place, but their friendship is such a core part of the story. It's like them finding themselves as newly divorced adult mothers and like trying to find who they are as women and whatnot. Yeah. So, Jared was just in a pissing contest with Conrad to prove to himself that he was the better option. Their fight proved that 100%. Also, the fact that in the book, I think he takes one punch, but he keeps hitting Conrad, and Conrad just takes it. And I was like, Conrad, swing back. But he swung back with his words. He did. But yeah, no, Jared has always been inferior, and I kind of want that conversation to happen, not because I want to like, Belly and Jeremiah's love was illegitimate and it never mattered. But I do want Belly, I would love if Jeremiah finds the person he's supposed to be with, has those fireworks, and goes like, I couldn't ignore that either. And like, I forgive you, because even though I loved you, I get that there's a difference. Like, because I don't think that Jeremiah has that with Belly. And that's why I don't feel too bad for him. You know what I'm saying? I had to Google why Laurel told Conrad she's his Laura. Maybe I need to Google it. I thought that was just his nickname. Why does Conrad call Laurel Laura? Hold on. Wait. Kara, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. Can you explain? Because I thought it was just that he like couldn't say it as a kid. That was just my assumption. Typical sibling jealousy of wanting what your sibling has, and once he has it. I mean, this is exactly what that fireworks scene in season 1 explains. Not knowing what to do about it because he knew she was never his to begin with. He only is interested in Belly. Also, he's only interested in Belly when he sees that Conrad's interested in her, and that's when he kind of like messes with their relationship and sabotages things, because in the beginning, like there's a scene in season 1, episode 2, where he walks her into the dead ball room and he's like, this is my future wife, Isabel Conklin, but it's totally a joke. It's not because there's any feelings there. And I was thinking about why the show is called The Summer I Turned Pretty, because Conrad explains a lot in this season and in the 3rd book. Like, I don't know when I knew I was in love with her. It just became a thing that was permanent. And it's like the always, like it's not just now, it's always, like he says in his love confession. And so then I was like, so it's not that the summer she turned pretty to him and the summer that he fell in love with her. I think it's because it's to other people outside of Belly and Conrad, and not just Conrad, but like Susannah is like, oh, she's all grown up, she's gorgeous. Jeremiah is like, oh, whoa, you grew up, you look hot, like whatever. He says that when she goes on her first date with Cam Cameron. And then yeah, so it's Jeremiah, it's Taylor, it's Susannah, it's everyone. It's not Laurel and Conrad, and obviously it's not Steven, but like I get that it's supposed to be like, oh, you grew up and something changed and whatever, but it's yeah, there's jealousy, and he was only interested because she became pretty to Jeremiah that summer, but not that she was only not pretty. I kind of wish we saw everyone's reactions too, but I do think it would have been like what's Adam gonna say? Like, oh, my business partner, it's Jeremiah, you can't get the job anymore. Like, I don't want to see his reaction. Laurel and John packed their daughter's things and like sent her on her way. And Conrad was obviously already gone at that point, so we saw his reaction basically. Yes, I need to see the letters. I definitely paused to read the Conrad one. I mean, I knew it because it was from the book, but it was so sweet. When JR's talking to Belly in the bridal suite and it's like, you lied to be yada yada, and she is like, she's a better person because I would definitely like, yeah, and she, no, same, I would have called it out. I would have said, Rebecca, same. I would have said, and Lacey Barone? Oh, right, in Cabo. Or I would have been like, what, like, she's like, why did you pick that fight? I would have acknowledged what happened after the fight. I will say he did kind of make a point when he said, like, I proposed, you didn't have to say yes. But I'm also like, Jeremiah, that's so gaslighty to propose and then blame it on her for saying yes and putting you through this trouble when you're admitting in the same conversation. Actually, I'm pissed at Jeremiah all over again. Thank you, Rebecca. You just reminded me of this. I'm pissed at him all over again because he's over here being like, you said yes to my proposal when all he did for 3 days straight was beg for her forgiveness, and I think got high and drunk with Redbird, and then now he's blaming it on her when he knew the feelings that were there. Like, why, once you knew you messed up, why wouldn't you then also fight back? Again, just saying, this is why Conrad is the partner that is right for her, is because he's willing to have a fight with her. He's willing to say what he needs to say. Speaking of Taylor Swift, and especially after this episode, I'm a firm believer This Love is Conrad's song. It fits. By the way, love the 80s stuff for us Gen Xers. They've done a great job with the music this season. I will say, I had to bar myself from the playlist today because I didn't want to get spoiled, which thank God I did, because I would never have seen like, of all the Taylor Swift songs I could have predicted, Cardigan was not on the list. Not anywhere close. But yeah, they did a great job mixing up songs this whole season. I feel like they've done that. That playlist is a banger. Like, it's so good to listen to. I mean, it's all the seasons. It's not just this one, but it's great. Oh my gosh. You guys are guys, thank you for keeping this chat alive. Thank you for being here. I feel so, I could pinch myself. Oh, This Love. That's what I was going to say. I think This Love will, because it's the whole, like, this love came back to me. I had to let it go free. This love came back to me. So here's my prediction. This love, Conrad's going to tell Belly at the airport, go to Paris. Go to Paris, girl. Like, I said what I needed to say. You go do you. Because he wants Belly to come back on his own terms. I think he stays away for a while. Then he starts writing her letters. And I think when Belly writes it back to him, and where they see each other again for the first time, This Love plays. When the show ends, if by the time this season ends, I don't get to hear The Way I Loved You, because to me, that is, when I think about needle drops in TV and movies, and I think about how that cemented that moment in my mind, in like cinematic history, I will never not think about Belly realizing that Jeremiah has gone at the dead ball, Conrad standing up and walking towards her as The Way I Loved You played. That song, and Jenny Hanna said that's the one song she wanted. And again, maybe I'm hyping myself up. I don't want to be disappointed, but I just believe that Jenny Han wouldn't. My close personal friend Jenny Han would not hurt me in that way by not playing that song again. And I don't think my other close personal friend Taylor Swift also would hurt me in that way. You know what I'm saying? Which also Taylor Swift is engaged this week. Can we just talk about everything in pop culture that's going on this week besides The Summer I Turned Pretty, which is a big deal for us, but I know that not everyone else is like dealing with the stress, the pain, the hurt, the anguish, the yearning of this show. Taylor Swift got engaged this week. The Hamnet trailer came out. The Hannah Montana 20-year anniversary teaser came out. Sabrina Carpenter comes up with a new album in 2 days. Taylor Swift got engaged. A New Heights podcast dropped talking about Taylor Swift. There's also, I feel like, 1,000,001 things. I know for some of you, like My Life with the Walter Boys, which I have not even I can only take one love triangle at a time. I haven't even dove into that, but I know that's coming back, I think, tomorrow. Wednesday, second half of season 2 is coming out next week. Like, there's so much going on right now. Also, college football is coming back, so I know there's a lot happening, and it's a lot of good things. And I'm being very dramatic. I'm very excited about all the pop culture things going on right now, but it's a lot. It's a lot for us to take at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday yesterday and into a Wednesday. Like, the week's not even half over yet. Anyway, Rebecca says, sorry. No apologies, girl. We are all Team well, we might not. I won't speak for everyone, but I am certainly Team Conrad. I'm never going to be mad at a little bit of Jeremiah picking him apart. Just can't stand Jer. My God. Excited for what's to come. Maybe I'll have to stay awake for the next episodes just to avoid spoilers. I might be able to stay up for the next week's episode, or at least get up very early in the morning. Oh, sorry, I hit my camera. Or at least get up very early in the morning to watch it. So that is my hope and desire and dream for that. The finale, though, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay up for that one. I'm just going to have to race home as I did today and do that. But how long do you think they will keep Belly away from Conrad, Jer, and the cousin's house? I think episode 11, she has to be back in Cousins. Whether it's because she and Conrad are getting married, whether it's because she and Conrad are reuniting for the first time, whether it's because they're all getting together as a family or something and like nobody's together romantically. I just think, I know it won't happen in episode 9, and I feel like even 10 might be too soon, but by 11, I don't think we're not going to see her back in Cousins. Also, speaking of, one of the outfits we haven't seen, now that we have seen the red outfit from the original poster, or not even the original, but like the show poster, season 3 poster. We've seen the rehearsal dress, which we were all like, what dress is this, from that poster. We've seen the wedding dress from the wedding poster. And we have yet to see the yellow dress, the one where we were like, ooh, this poster is giving Belly chooses herself. The yellow dress, yellow hydrangeas one in the background. We haven't seen that yet. And I just feel like the hydrangeas are such a Susannah thing. It's even acknowledged. Hello? What is this? Sorry, I just gotta pop up my computer. There's such a Susannah thing. They're even acknowledged in this episode by Laurel as being a Susannah flower, and like that's her thing. That she has to be back in Cousins in that yellow dress in the finale, I feel like. Caramine did too. My heart leaped at the airport scene. I was like, Conrad, look at her. He sees her by the end, right? These last 2 episodes playing a Taylor Swift song that I never would have expected to play over the happenings. It's simply crushing. It's simply hurtful. They give us a clue early in the season when Conrad is buying his ticket to Cali. It was the same airline as the card Laurel gives Belly. Pistachio lover, you have an eagle eye. I wonder if, I guess he would have booked it for like the night of the wedding. Probably. Because if he knew he was going to be in town, oh my God, until the wedding, he would have booked it for the night of the wedding so he didn't have to be in Cousins, like with everyone. Probably would have left during the reception. I love that. Of course I'm rewatching the show. I rewatched season 2 because I'd only seen that one once. Now I'm rewatching season 1. I don't know if I'll watch season 2 in a row because I can't take that much Jeremiah and Belly, to be honest. I will start season 3 over from the beginning though soon. Okay, yes, all in support of Susannah Laurel spinoff. Young Adam would be so annoying. I just know he would piss me off. But would I like to see some of his like good qualities to explain why they're even together in the first place? Yes, I would. Laurel and Adam dated first in the books. See, that's the kind of tea we need. See, this Laurel and Susannah spinoff could be the Sex and the City for our times. And yeah, that was a dig at And Just Like That, which I never have seen, but I'm going to dig at because I just can't imagine that it's as good as Sex and the City. Jeremiah got sick to his stomach right after Lacey B was brought up. I mean, he was laughing with them, and Conrad did tell him to drink water. He was going to get sick from the alcohol no matter what. He's passed out drunk when they get home. But yeah, the guilt be bubbling, that's for sure. Jeremiah end up with Denise. Can we talk about Denise, Steven, Taylor for a second? Thank God they did not drag this out, because this whole season, I literally said it in my video that I posted last night. This whole season, I've been like, what is the point of the Taylor, Steven, Denise love triangle? Because there's a rule, maybe it's in my own head, but I think it's pretty, you'll see it once I say it. In sitcoms or like long-running dramas and TV shows, specifically, you need to have, if you're going to have an on-again, off-again couple, you need to have a stable couple. So like, for example, in Friends, part of the reason that Monica and Chandler ended up working for the show is because they wanted to drag out the Ross and Rachel thing. And so Monica and Chandler going through all the stages of a romantic relationship while Ross and Rachel kind of do whatever, that added, I think, to the stability of the show, in my personal opinion. For example, in a show like How I Met Your Mother, even though Lily and Marshall have their issues, them being a stable couple and them eventually getting married and having children, while Ted finds his one true love, while Robin and Barney sort their things out. And I do not want to speak about the last season. That is something else to be talked about at a later date. That is like adds stability to that show because they're this couple. Again, who would the example be for like New Girl? Because Nick and Jess would be the on again, off again. I guess Cece and Schmidt. That kind of plays similar to this show, actually. But I've been trying to figure out what the purpose of this love triangle is, because if you haven't read the books, Steven and Taylor are not, like, they're in them, of course. They weren't just, like, dreamt up for the show, but they are not main characters in the way they are for this show, and they are, like, certainly not in a romantic relationship at any point in the books, to my understanding. I have only read the third one, but don't tell my husband. I am gonna get the box set. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna. So sorry. I'm gonna have to buy them. I have to have them on my shelf. I have Dune over here, and I don't have the Summer I Turned Pretty. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Yeah. But so the Denise thing, I was also, a lot of people were commenting about Denise and Steven starting this business together, this partnership, and I was like, that's not a great idea. Like, it'd be one thing if you were a couple and then you started this, or you were starting this and then you became a couple, but like all of it right at the same time is bad. I love the way it was handled in this episode, and I cannot explain to you more, because what I realized last week was the Steven and Taylor thing. Taylor thinks that Denise is the right person for her to be with, or for Steven to be with. Am I explaining this right? Taylor thinks that Denise is the right person that Steven should be with. So she is ignoring her own feelings because she thinks the right people are together. And she only like remembers her feelings when Steven tells her, actually, that's not the case, and I need to talk to you. Which is a parallel for Belly and Conrad and Jeremiah. Belly thinks that Jeremiah is the right person to be with. She's ignoring her heart and her feelings. I think the Jer and Denise thing, I wouldn't hate it, because Denise has been so centered in this episode. Like, she's literally at the rehearsal. I'm glad they addressed that, because I was going to be like, why is she here? Like, bring Annika, bring Redbird. Like, why is she here? But it would kind of be fun if it was like, okay, this group is the group that kind of sticks together throughout the rest of the show. Kaylee and Adam can leave. I don't need them to be there at the next rehearsal dinner for the show, but I would be curious to see if that was the case. I'm also curious if, like, there's supposed to be something with Redbird and Jeremiah, because somebody pointed out that Redbird was, like, super touchy with Jeremiah on the bachelor party night, and I feel like it's implied that, like, they're best buds, but, and I'm not saying they would have to be together, but I almost wonder, you know? I almost wonder. Conrad blows up the 4-year relationship by showing up to his own house. See, and that's the power of Conrad Beck Fisher. That is his power. He showed up, did a crossword puzzle, watched Casablanca, he didn't even start a fire, helped pick her up after she sprained her ankle or, like, fell. That's all the man needed to do. Jeremiah, you couldn't make a bigger impact in 4 years, but that's just love, baby. That's just love, and I love romance. I love it. Let's see. Oh, okay. Pistachio Lovers got the quote from the book. My mother told me once that when Conrad was very young, he called her his Laura. Where is my Laura? He'd say, wandering around looking for her. She said he followed her everywhere. Stop. The concept of Conrad Fisher is sometimes too much for me entirely to process. He's so moody and so well written and so... there is just something about this YA category that is impacting me, of, like, knowing someone when they're so young and getting to see them grow and change over life, but also, like, you've always known them. So good. Rebecca said, so I'm from Brazil. Hello from Brazil, Rebecca. And in the translation to Portuguese, the show's name is The Summer That Changed My Life. I think it's better in the sense of who is the endgame, who always loved her and thought she was beautiful. I really like that, Rebecca. That's actually really interesting, because I guess the concept of her saying, I turned pretty and then my life is different now. And, like, I was noticed by boys and I had all these, like, I grew up a little bit. Like, that is kind of what the title is supposed to imply. But I like that the Portuguese translates back to English in a way that kind of captures that more than just The Summer I Turned Pretty. Yep, Jeremiah overcorrected, exactly. He got her a bracelet at first, and then he decided that wasn't enough, and so he got her an even smaller ring. No, I'm kidding. The ring size doesn't matter. It's just comical in the show, because if Conrad gave her that same size ring, I would be like, it's beautiful. I'd be like, this is love. You don't need money. It's love. Cue Taylor Swift paper rings. But yeah. Yeah, and her brother was in the hospital. Sorry, I'm so behind. I'm catching up. Tater Tot says he probably couldn't pronounce Laurel as a kid, so he called her Laura. That's what I thought as well. Their music budget. So I had a theory about this because I told you I've been going down a young adult rabbit hole with my content because there's something about that kind of romance that just gets me. So I rewatched All the Boys I Loved Before, which, sidebar, potentially a modern classic, like kind of perfect. I love that movie. In that one, the music isn't nearly as good. And I was like, well, of course, like this show it's after Jenny Hanna's kind of had the success of Summer I Turned, or of To All the Boys I've Loved. But I think it's because of Amazon. Obviously, Jeff Bezos has money. What a revelation I've just stated on this stream. Thank you for coming from these quality insights. But because of Amazon Music, they have the connections. I think Jenny Hanna's even talked about the fact that in season 1, the song she really wanted was The Way I Loved You, and so she wrote a handwritten letter to Taylor Swift, and that was passed along to Taylor through the Amazon Music contact. And so I think that's like such a fun example of horizontal integration, of having all these different aspects of your business and getting to bring them all together into one. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed the show pages on usually the more like book adapted, or like, I don't want to say girly because obviously this is a show that it's not whatever, but you get what I'm saying. Like the girly, or the ones that the target audience is female, we'll say that, they have a lot of like things from the show you can buy, or like, ooh, Cousins inspired home decor. And I think those are just fun elements that they're able to bring together. So I think the music is kind of a key part of that. Rebecca, yes, this is the time to be a fangirl. This is the summer that I fangirled harder than I've ever fangirled in my life. Also, Thunderbolts just dropped on Disney Plus today, and I've been waiting to rewatch that for literal months. Like, it's so much. It's so much to process. Pistachio Lover said, I love Cole and Connie's connection. In the book, Belly says Connie called Laurel his girlfriend, and he would bring her sand crabs and seashells from the oceans, and he would lay them at her feet. This is why I need to get my hands on these books so that I can tab them and underline these things and just soak them up and physically own them, because they are available on Amazon or on Kindle Unlimited. Again, another example of horizontal integration currently. And I did listen to the book on Audible, which they have the actors reading the audiobooks, which makes them so worth it. I might get the audiobooks and I might get the physical books if you catch my drift. Christian, I hope you're not watching this. But yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible. Thank you, Pistachio Lover, for the book context, because again, I did only read We'll Always Have Summer. Kara says, I might have to go to bed and wake up at 3 a.m. for the next 3 weeks. Would I have to go to bed to make that make sense? The problem is the way that I feel after the show, and also the screaming that I scrumped during these episodes. I kind of need to, I can't be doing that at 3 a.m. I do love my husband, so I can't do that to him. What if Steven and Taylor get married, and that is where Conrad and Belly get reunited for tater tots? You might be onto something here. This might be something. I do like that. Oh, it was when he decides to go back but sees Belly cry, so he ends up staying and agreeing to be the best man for the wedding. Yes, that's when he buys a plane ticket. Yes, exactly. What if Begin Again plays when they see each other? I would also love that. The thing is, the more Taylor Swift songs I listen to, which of course that's all I listen to today because she's engaged, I got to get the girl the money for her wedding. Not that she needs it, but I got to get it to her. She just paid for her master's, right? Like, in this economy, girl, we need to let's stream Taylor Swift. All versions. They're all hers now. But there are so many songs that they could pull. Like, Illicit Affairs would have been so good in last week's episode. It wouldn't have had the same punch. Like, I do think they just picked perfect songs last episode. This episode, I need to dig more into. This is the first time Olivia Rodrigo has shown up in a while. So I feel like that's going to be a good one for me to do a breakdown of. And then let me know which songs from this episode you want a breakdown of, because I love doing those. It is it is single-handedly some of my favorite stuff I've ever done on YouTube is talking about the songs from this show. Especially the Taylor Swift ones, obviously, because those are the ones I'm most familiar with. But guilty of rewatching the whole series over the weekend until the next episode. Listen, they're not too long, and the first season is only 8 episodes, so that's only 8 hours. If you just had it on the background, like, you could get through it pretty quickly. Yes, Sex and the City. I just feel like that's what the prequel spinoff of Laurel and Susannah would feel like. I just think it would feel like Sex and the City. Yeah. Denise was the plot device for Staylor. See, I think so too, but I also think if I never saw her again, I want to see them start their game. And that's why I think there is going to be a time jump, is because we have Lucinda's hair business that's kind of been set up, although I don't know if we'll ever go back to their house. Taylor and Belly still need to graduate college. Belly needs to go to Paris and come back. Conrad needs to go back to medical school. Poor baby. I want him to be able to be a doctor, but I don't know what's going on with that situation. He hasn't studied all summer. He's been too bit. Well, no, he was studying. Sorry, I just got a flashback to when he caught the burger. Sorry. Remembering him does come in flashbacks and echoes, and that, when Taylor said that, she really did something. I think it was a plot device, but I do think they're obviously giving Steven and her this out from the Adam thing, and I wonder, does Jer go and work for them? He doesn't really have that context, but maybe he could be like some investor guy for them. I don't know. He does have to finish school as well. I keep forgetting about that, but for some reason I have a feeling Taylor and Denise will date. What? Sydney, girl. No way that's gonna happen. We all want Staylor. I don't think there's any way Staylor doesn't get together after they just had that. I will say I do have a little bit of a pet peeve. The Rookie has done this to me, and now the Summer I Turned Pretty has done this to me, where they end a couple that you've been waiting to get together for a long time. They go, to be continued. We'll have this conversation later. I don't want you to say to be continued out loud. Like, get interrupted. That's fine. Don't acknowledge the fact that we're going to have this conversation later. I already know we're going to have this conversation later. I'm not dumb. I thought about Jer and Denise too, or Redbird and Jer. See, those are the two that I see as most likely, because you've casted them, you've introduced the characters. Now, if Jer goes around and ends up dating Annika, Denise, Redbird, like, Jer, buddy, we gotta calm down. Listen, I'm rooting for you now that you are not with Belly. Don't make me regret that. Somebody play Please, Please, Please. Don't embarrass me. Jer. The issue with the ring songs is that it felt like no thought or care was put into it. He spent more on Cabo and wanted to spend more on the cake. Period. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for reminding me. Every time I try to give Jer a bone, I'm reminded that I shouldn't actually be doing that, because that's exactly what it is. He didn't ask for Susannah's ring, which Adam was like, of course you're not going to get Susannah's ring, which Conrad has it. Okay, period. That's right. I know that's right. I know that Conrad has Susannah's ring. But the issue, agreed, wasn't the ring. The thing that I think was done so well in the show of Jeremiah, which again is testament to Jenny Han's writing and the development of all the writers, is they really showed Jeremiah this season as somebody who has money, does not understand kind of the concept of not really having money, not really having things handed to him, and he then acts kind of rich even though he doesn't have money in this. Like, he has money from his family. He's ignorant about, he doesn't take responsibility. He has bad credit. He's $20,000 in debt to his dad because he went over on college and couldn't graduate on time. He wanted an expensive wedding, and then he accepts this job that he maybe doesn't even really want, just because he wants to make money and make his dad happy. And I just want to see him break away from that, because I know that's what Susannah would have wanted. And at the end of the day, like, I gotta be there for Susannah. I'm not a big fan of Jeremiah, but he shows a lot of maturity by calling it off. Agreed. The letter and then his mom's ring, he couldn't deny it. Exactly. The fact that Conrad had his mom's ring, Conrad said that Belly deserved it. Which there are some times where I'm like, Conrad, are you scheming? But I will give it to him. I allow him to scheme. Sorry. I support Conrad's rights and Conrad's wrongs. I don't know what you want me to say about it. But no, I know. I think it is a really heartbreaking scene, because it is Jeremiah realizing that to me, it's his one true act of love that we've gotten to see for Jeremiah. or the one true act of love Jeremiah has shown Belly that we've gotten to see in this show is of calling it off, because he's not being selfish. He's accepting what she's telling him, and he is like, okay, we can't go through with this, even if he's doing it because he's like, I can't accept the fact that you like Conrad, you know, and that's maybe whatever. He is accepting the fact that I have these feelings and I can't ignore them, and you shouldn't ignore yours either necessarily. He's not telling her to go be with Conrad, obviously. I'm interested to see another conversation between them. In the book, that's implied that one happens, but we don't get to see it, and I hope in the show that we do. Okay, you guys said you loved Skinny Love. I need to dive in deeper. That will be one to do a deep dive on for sure, is Skinny Love, because that plays at such an important moment. I mean, I know the lyric, like, come on, Skinny Love, just last the year. And that's obviously, like, he's like, come on, like, can we not just make this work? Ugh. I do feel bad for Jeremiah at some points, but then I see him in season 1 when he, like, holds Junior Mint on the bed and he goes, pretty please, pretty please. And I'm like, I don't like you. Sorry, Jeremiah. I will say one thing that has made me super sad is that I saw the Summer I Turned Pretty account posted about, like, community guidelines. I don't know who is harassing these actors when they are giving us such solid content week to week. Like, I don't know. I've seen a couple of the drama supposedly behind the scenes. I don't buy it. I feel like these people, like, they probably, I don't know. I just don't want to focus on it. Like, I want to focus on the drama in the show. I don't want to focus on the drama outside of it. I want them to hopefully all be friends, and if they're not, that sucks, but, like, okay, whatever. Like, in the show, that's what I care about. You know, but that was crazy. Can you imagine the first time they see each other again? It's at Jer and Redbird's wedding. That would be crazy. You said not gonna happen, would be funny. I don't think it's completely out of the question, I'll say that. That is crazy. Tina says, I work at 5 a.m. LO, I can't watch before work because I would be dead emotionally. See, that's the thing. If I did wake up at 3 to watch it, I don't know. And I'm also thinking about, like, next week, I do have an opportunity to watch it early, like, in the day, not actually before next Wednesday, but I have the opportunity to watch it earlier than I normally would, and I probably will, but then I'm like, how am I going to focus on anything else productive for the rest of the day when I'm thinking about the Summer I Turned Pretty? I simply won't be able to. So Jared knew Conrad was in love with Belly the entire time and kept putting on a victory show. Thank you, Pistachio Lover. You have hit every thought in my head that I have not been able to bring up tonight independently. Because, yes, I was rewatching last week's episode because, of course, I had to see it like 4 or 5 times. And when he's like, we're family now. You get that? You took care of my girl. She's my girl. What was the reason? Like, your brother is doing a dance for his ex-girlfriend, the woman he's in love with that you knew about. You're making him dance to Zayn's Let Me? Jeremiah, that's evil. Nothing Conrad has ever done to you or to Belly has ever been that evil. That might be, in fact, the worst crime that Jeremiah Fisher has committed in this show is when he makes Conrad dance. Horrible. I'm struggling with feeling bad for Jerry. He threw a tantrum after Con wanted to get back to the house instead of getting ice cream. Yeah, that was also uncalled for. Here's the thing. I think that Gavin gave us, like, I think Gavin did a great job portraying Jeremiah this episode, because that's gotta be hard to be like that unlikable of a character and potentially know you're not endgame and still give it your all, and I really think he did in a believable way. I do think this episode was like some of his best acting all season, so that was very exciting. And yeah, if I rewatch the episode, I'm probably gonna get peeved again at Jeremiah. I want him to be happy. I need that to come with growth. I need him to go to therapy over his mom. I need him to find out about his dad and probably go to therapy about that. I need him to talk to his brother. Like, I need some healing. I'm all for healing for Jeremiah and for Conrad and for Belly and for everyone involved in this situation. But I think Jeremiah might need it the most, because I do think that Paris is going to... Paris and not being immediately a wife at 21 when she hasn't finished college for Belly, I think is important. Donatella says Jared dated Belly fully knowing Conrad is not over Belly. Agreed. So I can't give him full props for being mature and then making comments like, she's my family now, you know that, right? Yes, give me the ick. Give me the ick. Jeremiah knows what he's doing, and it's very frustrating. See, this show, layers layers. And this is why they feel like real people to me, because he does have this like devastating thing happen to him, and he does handle some of it with maybe a tad of grace. But then there's plenty of other things he's done where I'm like, you're just pissing me off. Everybody's having the same thought right now. We really are. She's my family was icky. It was icky because he was trying to be condescending. Because Conrad's like, oh no, man, like, you know, it's my job as big brother. He goes, let me finish. He said, let me finish. See, with all of the little things that Jared did, I can feel bad for him. I can't feel bad for him. He is so annoying and just, I can't. Stands in the way and wasted everyone's time. I think the thing is, though, with both Belly and Jared being messy people, all of this had to happen. It had to happen to get to the end game that we want. I really, truly do believe that. And do I wish a little bit that we could have just had a full season of Belly and Conrad together? Yes. But, like, the yearning wouldn't have been there if Conrad wasn't in the way. And so, like, we have Jeremiah Fisher to thank for Conrad Fisher being inducted into the Yearning Hall of Fame. We really do. I saw a post about that also. I can't steal things I see on Instagram and then like claim them as my own. I can't do that. Jeremiah grew up after this. I hope he does. And I hope he does not try to win Belly back. I hope that he realizes, oh, that's again, best case scenario. Jer finds somebody that he feels fireworks with. He acknowledges that, holy cow, this is how Conrad and Belly feel about each other. I can support them being together. And then they're like, we're not together. Like, we're not trying to rush anything. And then, magnetic attraction, they get together. That's best case scenario. Okay. I probably do have to hop off stream soon. But before we do that, I do want to go through the episode. I'm not obviously going to have to be able to watch the full thing. I didn't eat dinner before this. So we're going on 10 p.m. I need to go eat dinner. But let me pull up Prime and let me like just kind of sort through this. Awful war flashbacks from season 2. I know, Rebecca, I did too. I have been having those flashbacks. The wedding, when they did the rehearsal, I was like, we're gonna get a shot of Belly seeing Conrad, and they didn't do it. They respected Jeremiah in that moment, but I did think we're gonna get it. We kind of got it at the dinner. But I do want to go through the episode, and no, what is that? I don't want to watch that. Where is it? Why are they hiding this from me as if not everyone on Prime Video wants to watch this right now? Every time I catch up, it hides from me. Ooh, My Fault London. I might have to watch that. Also, please drop all of your recommendations for content you'd like to see me react to, content you'd like to hear me talk about on the channel, because I feel like we have like a real true group with The Summer I Turned Pretty, and we're all going to be looking for something to watch next. The thing I have pitched, which ladies in the chat, let me know if you think this is a good idea, but I've never watched Gilmore Girls before. I know a lot of things that happen, and I've seen episodes or clips here and there, but I've never like fully sat down and like watched an episode or like watched the show all the way through. And I feel like going into fall, that'd be really fun. There's also Wednesday. There's also the Walter Boys. I've heard a lot about Matt That Leads to You, My Fault London, all of these romance, girl world. I need recommendations so that we can all watch something together and talk about something, because once this show is over, I'm gonna have a massive hole not only in my viewing schedule but also in what I talk about on the channel. So please drop all your recs for that, because your girl needs it. Okay, let me start this over. Ugh. Not the immediate cardigan. That is just gonna take me out. Okay, we see Belly in the morning. My prediction wasn't right about the bow falling out of her hair. It does look blue, though. It really does. And then she has the fight with Conrad, which is exactly how it happens in the book, and I loved it so much. Ugh, when he says it hasn't been a year since Christmas, because she's like, it's been years. And he goes, it has been years since Christmas. He knew what he was doing. We got to see the Taylor and Conrad thing, and I kind of like the fact that we don't really get an interaction between Jared. Oh! I didn't even talk about the number one thing that pissed me off that Jared did in this episode. Guys, how was I about to do this? How was I about to do this and not talk about this? The night before your wedding, if you drop on your literal in probably less than 12 hours to be spouse, that you just accepted a job that you did not talk to her about? Because you're trying to tell me that Jeremiah was going to finish college online, live in Boston with his dad, have a job, and Belly like wasn't going to be able to go to Paris. That is the number one thing that he did that has made me upset. Like, okay, credit, you didn't know about credit. You should have, but you didn't. You wanted to spend so much on this cake. I don't know, maybe Susannah made it for him one time. And he wanted, I don't know why Jeremiah has a favorite bakery of all things. I don't know. I could excuse, except for the cheating, basically everything that's happened that he's done that pissed me off. Because in some way, I'm like, okay, whatever. Taking a job, a full-time position without consulting your partner, whether you are dating and you need to decide, does this change anything? Whether this is your fiance, you don't have an impending wedding, it's coming, but it's not like immediate, or you're like literal about to be wife. They're almost married. Like they are kissing marriage. They just skated past it. Yes, and exactly, Rebecca, after he told Belly, I didn't want you to go to Paris anyway. Does he just think they can just keep these things inside? He probably does, because it's probably how Adam Fisher deals with things. But the fact that he did that, so annoying. Also, adding on that he knew, obviously, I can't fault him. Like, it's his wedding. Obviously, he's going to kiss Belly, whether he knew or didn't know about Conrad. I love the way they shot this. This is cinematography at its finest. Is the fact that every time they shoot Belly and Jeremiah at the reception, or at the rehearsal, you see Conrad in frame over his shoulder. Chef's kiss to the cinematography, to the director of photography. We applaud you, because that is great work. And yes, he whined about Belly going to Paris, and he got Boston without consulting her. And yes, she did. She wrapped it up. She said, I'll be respectful, because that's her man. And he is a man and not a man-child. Kara said, I just started watching you last night. That is, Kara, welcome to the party. I came late to making these reactions because, to be honest, I didn't know if they would be worth doing. I hadn't caught up at season 2 by the time that, like, season 3 was right around the corner, and I was like, I need to catch up on season 2. And then I was traveling a little bit, and so I was like, I won't do it. And then, obviously, episode 6 made me have to, and now here we are, week to week. I'll be back next week. I'll be back tomorrow with more content. I will. I love this show. I love talking about it. Pistachio Lover said, I waited a long time for the show, and I need a more satisfying end compared to the books. I had not heard anyone talk about that. I only obviously recently read the book, and I listened to it, and it was only last one. If I'd grown up with this, like, I do get that you'd probably want, like, literally any additional scraps that you could get. And I don't blame you, because I want them too. So that's, Pistachio Lover, I hope that Jenny gives you everything you want. I think she will. Oh, Kara, that's so embarrassing. That's actually so embarrassing for me that I assumed you meant. A moment of silence for that awkwardness that I just created. Wait. I just started watching You last night. I love your comments. You need to watch Gilmore Girls or Sullivan's Crossing. Okay, Gilmore Girls is, I don't know as much about Sullivan's Crossing. Gilmore Girls is, it's on my list. Okay, you're talking about You, the show. I also haven't finished that, so that would be a great option. I'm so sorry. I cannot believe everyone just saw me fumble like that. Kara, girl, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for accepting me in all my awkwardness, despite my bad comments and my awkwardness. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. Last ep about the cake thing, Jared was like, oh, having raspberry chocolate, whatever, is important, because it is one thing. Okay, my guy, will you get the money? See, that would be my thing. My thing would be like, how do you plan to take care of us while I'm in school? Because I know that Laurel is sitting there going, and who's going to pay for your college education? And who's going to help you with your healthcare package? Because that's what a real adult would think about. That's amazing. Okay, finishing up the episode. That was the number one thing that bothered me, was that he didn't consult her about the job. I think their speeches were honestly kind of beautiful. I liked it. I love the Laurel and Connie moment we talked about. I love that they did have Denise and Steven kiss and still move on from it. I love that, because if they hadn't have kissed, I would have been like, you guys kind of didn't close that loop, but they did. And then I'm obsessed with her swimming, because that's also in the book. I love the fact that she goes to Jeremiah wanting to trust him. And then I also like the fact that Steven is like there for her and basically like, I'll find him, no worry, we'll get this taken care of. Conrad in Susannah's room. Like, he's not staying in his, well, I don't know if he's not staying in his room or if he's just like visiting the room. But excuse me, I did really love that conversation between him and Steven, and that made me feel like, okay, we're gonna get them reuniting or like being friends again. I love that we got a Belly and Laurel moment before the wedding, because Laurel does really get to be fully supportive, because that was another one of my, oh my god, I love this question. That was another one of my favorite parts of the episode, was at the rehearsal, you can tell Belly is going through it. And she hasn't really gotten to talk about Jer, but she's dealing with Conrad's confession, and she looks at Laurel and is like almost like pleading for Laurel to be like, actually, I don't support the wedding, because then she'd be like, Jer, I think we should call it off, like my mom doesn't support the wedding. But Laurel is being a good mother. She's being supportive. She's doing it even though she thinks this is not the best choice. And so that's then when she says yellow jelly belly. Ugh, broke my heart, stabbed me. The amount of Laurel Belly moments in this season that have emotionally devastated me, I never would have been prepared for it, to be honest. Never would have been. Obviously the scene in the garden was exactly how I pictured it in the books, and it was perfect. I love that Taylor has this awakening and goes, you know what, I'm scared. Like, I'm your best friend. Don't listen to Conrad, but listen to me. Yes, I want Steven to find out that Jared cheated too. I want to know, where do we go from here? How do we move forward? I hope relationships can be fixed somewhere. I think they I think they can be. I think the thing is, the worst of it is over. I think the worst of it is over. Like, the wedding's been called off. They'll have time to heal. Belly's going her separate way. I do think they're going to be able to heal. And yeah, you're so right, Melissa. He did have many one things. I'm all for a groom getting what he wants on his wedding day, but this is too much. But yes, Taylor is genuinely worried for her. And when she says, like, you've given up Paris, you've given up this thing, you've given up that, it's not about picking the right boy. Like, I actually don't care about that. I care about you losing yourself and not knowing. And then also the fact that Belly, of the two of them, has always been the more introspective one. She's always been the one that does a little bit more self-discovery, self-reflection. She's the one that harbors the crush for Conrad, whereas like Taylor is like into a bunch of different guys, can't be honest about her feelings with Steven. And I think in a lot of ways Taylor looks up to Belly for that kind of emotional like security that Belly has always represented, and the fact that she's kind of been missing is clear. Also, I noticed somebody comment on, and I haven't talked about it in any of my videos, that the little mirrors in Belly's bedroom don't have the glass in them, which I couldn't tell if that was just because it was at night or not, but it looked like they didn't have the glass in them. And then in this episode, they definitely looked like they had it for like the self-reflection of it all. And I think that was so important in this episode, because we do get her narration back. We do get to hear her thinking about these things, and obviously we get the conversation with Taylor, and we get the shot of her with all three mirrors where it's like, you might be able to lie to Jeremiah. You might be able to lie to Conrad. You can't lie to yourself, girl. You can't do that for the rest of your life. You can't. So I loved the mirrors, and the role they play in this episode is like so good. Conrad saying goodbye to Belly. I was on the verge of tears. I think the only reason I wasn't crying is because I'm dehydrated right now, but truly. And then obviously Jer and Belly saying goodbye, I think was done so well. Also the fact that all of this is taking place in like one room, basically. So good. I love her packing up and going. In her wedding makeup at the airport, and then obviously seeing Conrad. Ugh. Like, tell me how I'm supposed to be over this. I simply won't be. I simply am not. And I knew you'd come back to me. And I agree. Kara. Belly will be the one to come back to Conrad. Because I think you're right. She has never really restarted things with him. He came to her when they got back together in season 2, like in the winter timeline after the first summer. That same year, he went to her, and he's also been the one that's come to her and given the love confession twice now. He didn't take it back the second time, but he did in the motel. Yeah, I want Steven. Things I want from the rest of the season. Steven to find out Jared cheated. Steven and Taylor are happy together. Obviously, Belly and Conrad back together. Jeremiah to find out about his dad cheating, and I don't know, have some good personality traits, and be a happy person, because I don't think he's even been happy this season, to be honest. And then obviously I want Belly to go to Paris. I want to see the letters. I want to get the letter from Susannah. I think that's basically everything I want. And I want The Way I Loved You. Taylor's support on this episode, she's genuinely worried for her friend, and I hope this was the beginning of reuniting with Steven. It definitely was. If we're not getting, here's my prediction. We will not be getting Belly and Conrad next episode. We will get them in the finale, but we will not get them next episode. Because I think even Conrad would know that this is like too soon. Like, he can't just like, him knowing that she loves him and him knowing that she called off the wedding, I think is enough for him. So I think he's gonna leave it. And yeah, I think Steven and Taylor getting back together next episode will be kind of this like important thing. So the wedding is called off. Yes, war is over. It truly is. Truly is. Yes. It really truly is. It's beautiful. Belly doing the safe code word to Laurel. Ugh. I literally just watched the episode where she says that to her when she first drops her off with the dead ball. And that's brutal. It's brutal. She's stunning with her looks this episode. She really do be. And then from the moment Conrad read the letter, I was in tears. Like, it's just so good. And the fact that it's all from the book is like also brutal. Belly should be the one to reach out to Conrad one time. I agree. Maybe does she send the first letter? And it's a reverse from the book. That would low-key be better, because then it would be like not Conrad like chipping away at Belly, but it'd be Belly like, hey, and then maybe she shows up. Could that be the end of episode 10? She shows up at his doorstep, or she goes back to cousins and he's there. I do think Jared's gonna go to Paris. I do think Jared and Belly will be in Paris, and I think that will be not him trying to get back together with her, but like a sign of like, hey, I was wrong. Yeah, Pistachio Lover, you and I are on the same page. I think that could be one of the plot twists, is that instead of the letters, which are all Conrad, he's not getting anything back. And then Belly, yeah, he did his part. You're so right. He did his part. It's her choice now, and I know he is man enough to not rush her. Those are all the things I think I want. Do I have any more predictions? I don't think so. I have honestly, it is really fun, I will say. I do love knowing what's about to happen, but it is so exciting that the show has done such a good job adapting the book, has done such a good job with the changes that they've made so far. Maybe with the exception of, I know not all of us are fans of, Skye got a little bit annoying to me last season. On a second rewatch, I don't find her as annoying, excuse me, but whatever. This love plays when she comes back to Conrad, agreed. Ooh, Chris was in Paris for a month filming. I don't know. See, I probably shouldn't look into these things. I feel like I saw something that I'm not sure I'm supposed to see, but it could be nothing, or it could be something. It could be back on campus. Maybe I thought it was Paris. Because obviously Jared's going to have to be there. Unless he does his class online, I guess. But I just want all these characters to be happy at the end of the day, to be honest. I do really love and care about them all. I do need to get these books. I do need to reread them all. I do need to rewatch the show. Because I'm a crazy person. And because I'm a crazy person, I'm going to be back here next week fresh off of watching episode 9. The fact that we still have 3 more episodes of the show left is both a pinch me moment. I can't believe it's ending so soon. And also the fact that we just don't know what's happening. It's going to be a wild couple of weeks. So strap in. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll stick with me with this crazy analysis, these crazy videos, the insane amount of content that this show, the insane amount that I can talk about this show. I think it's surprising even me, who is a lifelong yapper, the fact that I can talk about the show for hours at a time. Hours at a time. I totally agree, Rebecca. There's so many book to movie adaptations, guys. I'm going to be talking about all of them soon. I swear, I have so much content filmed and have not been able to edit it because I've been so focused on Summer I Turned Pretty. Obviously, I have a whole other life outside of YouTube that needs my attention because I love my life and I'm very grateful about it. But Cara, no way you have a dog named Sasha or a cat. That's amazing. Give my love to Cat Sasha. But I will be back next week. You will see me very soon. I'm going to try to get my episode 8 video out prior to next Tuesday, which I did with the last 2 videos, so that you guys can have it sooner. And then next week, let the fun start all over again. But there will be Summer I Turned Pretty content all weekend. I'll be doing the song breakdowns for you all. I'll make sure Skinny Love is in there. I'll definitely do Cardigan. Probably do Making the Bed. I'll dive in because there were a lot this episode and I want to do a bunch. Guys, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. This was so fun. I can't believe there's so many of you still here watching. I feel bad to end it, but I think I have some food waiting for me downstairs. So I'm going to go enjoy that. I will be yapping away on the channel, on my Instagram, wherever I am online. I will be talking about the show because I love it so, so dearly. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for 5,000 subscribers. Thank you for all the views and the likes and the comments, most especially. Talking to you all is my favorite thing about the show. It's getting to unite Girl World, all the husbands and boyfriends and all the people that love the show, all the fans of it. Having the summer I fangirled harder than I've ever fangirled. It makes me so oh, Pistachio Lover! Stop! Pistachio Lover! You're so sweet. Stop, guys. The last minute super chat. That is so... I could actually cry. Guys, this show, genuinely, I love it so much. I'm getting emotional now. And you can't be nice to me after this episode has already fried me. Thank you so much, Pistachio Lover. I hope you're here next week. I hope that we can chat more about the show. Thank you. Getting your book commentary is so helpful and has made me want to read them even more and just underline and highlight and tab all of it. So thank you so much for being our book expert in the chat. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was such a fun night. Pistachio Lover, I'm gonna cry. This really means so much to me. I can't express it. Thank you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. All the love on all of these videos, everything. It has given me inspiration when I have needed it most, to be completely honest with you, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna go eat my food and cry over this episode a little bit more and y'all's kindness. Thank you so much. Your favorite fangirl will be back next week. Bye, guys. Oh, where's the ending? I always lose it. Where did it go? Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.